Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.
Okay, what's up people? Hope everyone is doing well. Welcome back to another stream. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel, and of course hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future, and of course share it with your friends as well. If you're interested to check out the AI powered signal service, I'm going to drop the link to the Telegram channel of the community Telegram channel for Zentrix, and if you go to the pin messages at the top, you'll be able to see the link to the AI powered signal service at the bottom. So check out the Telegram. That's the community Telegram. You can find out more updates about the project there as well. Head to the pin messages, go to the bottom, and you'll be able to see the link to the signal. So if you're interested, feel free to check it out. But guys, welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is well. What is up, LFTJ? Hope you're doing good. Umira, hope I'm saying your name correctly. Probably not. But I hope you're doing good. Thank you so much for tuning in to another stream as well. So, as always, guys, we'll go a bunch of markets to go through. We'll start with the USD side of things first. Take a look at the DXY, USD majors, gold and silver. Do a quick run through the platform we'll be working on. Purpose trading platform under Zentrix. Quickly share that with you guys. And then we'll go through some requests. We'll go through some pairs. I'm trading in them in 3 positions at the moment, so I've got a bunch of things to go through, a few pairs on the watch list as well, but I do have my hands tied a little bit, so I think I'll just manage the positions I'm in and then progress hopefully with those positions and maybe add some new ones if things look good. If not, I'll sit on those positions. But I hope everyone is doing well. Hey, what's up, FX Wolf? Good to see you. Hope you are well today. CPI, yes, we got some lovely news today. Is that 1:30 UK time? That's when it normally is. Yeah, 1:30. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on that, ladies and gents, because that will definitely cause some movement. CPI it's been a big hitter recently. Maybe a couple CPIs have been a little bit tamed recently. They were very, very kind of violent towards the end of 2024, actually for most of 2024 actually. But CPI, again, definitely a market mover, so definitely keep an eye on that, especially if you're on the intraday timeframes. You want to kind of base your trading kind of around that. But yeah, we'll go through a bunch of markets today. Start with USD, progress into some other related markets. So if you do have any requests, any pairs you want me to take a look at, any particular timeframes as well, drop it in the chat and I will get to... Ooh. Has my mic been off the whole time? Or is it on now? I have no idea. So someone let me know if my mic is on, by the way. Because I feel like it was off. And then I've just switched it on. Or it was on and I've just switched it off. Okay, I feel like it's on now. Okay, apologies for that, people. I think it is on now. But yeah, basically, hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to the stream. I'll go through a bunch of markets. As always, USD markets, let me know any pairs you are looking to trade today. And of course, I got a bunch of markets to go through. Pairs I'm looking at, pairs I'm trading. We'll go through my perps trading platform with Zenthrix as well. So a bunch of things to get through. But we'll get to it. We'll start with the DXY. So I don't actually like with this wick here. I'm going to use capital.com because there's no wick there. Okay, so with USD, just trying to sort the mic. With USD, still bullish bias, still looking to attack the buys with USD. That's still very much the game plan coming into the week. And I was looking for a test of this area, which we quite didn't actually make a test. We missed it by a small margin there. So I was actually looking for us to come a little bit lower, test that area, and hopefully find some buys around that area. But we've shifted. We've looked pretty bullish. I basically said I wanted us to kind of slow down, consolidate, and then show us some momentum on a breakout potentially. And that's kind of what we got here. Price was very slow, sideways. And then we did see some momentum this afternoon or last afternoon. And for me, that was a big call. That was a big kind of sign that says, okay, the buyers are stepping in. And now we could see some upside. Now, again, with DXY, I've got two kind of clear targets, which I'm looking at. You got the high over there and the high over there. I'm not necessarily looking for a massive move with the DXY because I do think USD. Well, I'm not quite bullish long term just yet. I'm looking at the higher time frames for the DXY, and I'm not quite convinced that we're just going to see a massive reversal. We could do, but we still do have a big level around 100, which price is still trading below, which we need to get back above for me to think, okay, long term we could see a USD. We could see USD strength. So I'm keeping a close eye on USD as we progress higher. Two clear levels to target, and after that we'll see how far we go. But as for now, pretty bullish. I think there might be some nice intraday opportunities on the DXY, a pullback and then a continuation, basically retesting the consolidation we just broke out of. But I am anticipating this to be a higher low, so pretty bullish on DXY. It looks like we're breaking to the upside, looks like momentum's coming to the market. Now expecting a bit more upside, at least back to 98.4. And then if things go very bullish, maybe all the way back to 99.8. So that's very much the plan there for the dollar. So Euro USD pretty much looking at the exact opposite. This one a nice break to the downside as well, breaking out that consolidation. We actually again didn't test this area, which was we haven't tested it yet. We could still potentially test it, but so far we haven't quite tested it. I mean, we did miss it by a few pips there, very, very small amount. So again, the market's not perfect as well. Sometimes we will kind of just miss a level by a few pips and potentially still see a reaction as if price did hit the level. So sometimes that can be that can come up, be a reality. So yeah, well, we're not perfect. Technical analysis is not perfect, but I was looking to see if price could test that area before we do push down. But it looks like the market's already pretty bearish right now. So Euro USD, I do expect more downside. Similar situation to the DXY, looking for a push into 1.15727 and then a push into the low, because again, I'm not quite convinced long-term Euro USD bearishness. I would still argue this is still a pretty bullish market as well. So the shorts are still kind of counter trend. Hence, I want to be a bit more cautious with them, not as aggressive. And if I start to see some signs of, okay, Euro might not be looking so bearish anymore, or I'm seeing signs of bullish momentum kicking back into the market, I'll be very quick to pull the plug on the trade and get out of there. But yeah, I do expect more downside. I think intraday, this looks like a nice short opportunity here for a push down. I quite like that idea, at least for a push into this area. Then if dollar becomes very strong, perhaps we do see the big swing. So there's a lot of downside potential for Euro USD. But again, I would watch out for this area. Of course, nice kind of area of demand there as well. That could act as an area which buyers look to step back into the market. So I would keep an eye on this area. But if we can get the break, I think we could see a lovely bearish swing. Pound USD, same situation as Euro, looking for another low high, looking for another move down. Price isn't really respecting the trend line in the way I would want it to. You can probably argue that we're breaking through the trend line. It's not a convincing break, so I'm not quite sold on the breakout just yet. I want to see a convincing kind of candle breaking above all of this to kind of tell me, okay, pound USD is clearing the trend line. We are looking quite bullish. Okay, now we're on our way up, most likely. So yes, we are closing above the trend line, but nothing in a convincing manner. And if price was to close strongly back below, well, I'll still view this as a rejection, and I'll still be looking at push back into support at 1.315. So still pretty bearish on pound USD, but again, the price action is the most important thing. Need to see momentum pick up from the buyers. I think pound is quite strong at the moment, so that's why pound's finding it quite difficult to see some downside. Euro is actually looking quite bearish, but pound's actually looking quite bullish over the past few hours. So there's a big difference between euro and pound at the moment, and we can have a look at euro pound later on. But I'm still looking for this strong candle breaking lower, perhaps breaking through support here to give us the real kind of signal that the bears are really stepping in, and perhaps from there we can put the next lower high in and start to attack the lows. So that's still very much the plan for pound USD, just looking at the continuation of that bearish structure. Aussie dollar, I admit, actually is looking very good. I would have probably taken an entry with this one, but because I'm already long on dollar CHF, I don't want to overexpose myself to USD. We do have some news coming up later as well. So, and I'm already in 2 Aussie pairs as well, so I don't want to overdo it, over kind of expose myself to Aussie and USD. But I think this is a really nice shift of momentum, nice entry signal. Price came back to test the lower end of the channel, and it looks like we're starting to see some bearish momentum creep into the market. You've got this ascending channel here. Price has been super corrective. We finally broke to the downside, and price came back to retest the low of the channel and retest that area of supply to our left over there. Brief pause in the market. You can see it better in the 4-hour chart. But brief pause, lovely flush to the downside. That's where a lot of momentum came from. Looks like we're starting to see some bearish momentum now as well. So I'm pretty bearish on Aussie dollar. We're starting to see that momentum. I quite like the fact that we had all this rejection to the upside. Price is trying to break back above this channel, but failing to do so. So that's a strong sign to me that the bears are really here to stay, most likely, and that we can probably see a push back into the lows here. So I quite like what I'm seeing here with Aussie dollar. I think the shorts look really good. You can get some stops above the highs here. You're looking pretty good. If price does break above there and does hit your stop loss, well, probably at that point we are going to be bullish. So you can put the bearish buys to bed at that point. So I think that would be a great place for a stop loss, and then naturally targets back at the prior low. I do think we can go a bit further than that as well. So I'm pretty bearish on Aussie dollar. I like what I'm seeing. I think as long as we don't break back above 0.652, we're likely due some more downside for this one. New Zealand dollar, kind of a similar situation, but I do prefer Aussie. I think it just looks a lot better in terms of momentum, in terms of the entry, in terms of the setup, really, to be honest as well. Again, similar situation, corrective channel, price is broken out of that. Looks like we're retesting that for some more downside. That has been the bias for New Zealand dollar. But again, I'm just not a big fan of it because we are quite corrective. There's not a lot of room to work with. We've got support right below us here. So, I mean, it's not a bad move. There's still some distance there, especially if we can drop to the lower time frames. You can probably make the most of that. But I just think Aussie's a lot cleaner than New Zealand dollar. It's just a quite choppy market for this one. But I am bearish, expecting USD strength. It looks like we are seeing that coming to the market. I think NZD and Aussie a little bit weak as well, so that's helping. But yeah, I do still see some more downside there for New Zealand dollar, back into 0.585. I missed out dollar CAD. Let me quickly go do dollar CAD. I completely forgot about that pair. Dollar CAD, pretty bullish with this one as well. It looks like we're climbing back above that daily level, so I'm liking what I'm seeing. We've got a lot of support resistance in this area. It looks to me that price is climbing back above. So maybe it was just a slight fake out, price dipping below. Now we're potentially recovering that level, and now potentially could see the next high low for a swing back into the high. And that simply was the plan coming into the week. And to me, I like what I'm seeing. A lot of consolidation below the level, but then we had that one big candle just closing back above, showing us a lot of strength. So yeah, I reckon if we can get some stops below here, possibly even a retest, might give us like a head and shoulder pattern. That might be a nice trade, like an hourly chart. And from there, I'll be expecting a swing back to the high at 1.388. and perhaps beyond that as well. But there is a lot of resistance above us, around 1.39. So I wouldn't get too carried away with dollar CAD, but I like what I'm seeing. Really nice bearish trend, start to consolidate, break to the upside, pull back, higher low. Now looking for some more upside. So nothing crazy here with dollar CAD, pretty simple price action, but I like what I'm seeing. Momentum looks good. Hopefully we can continue to push on. And we'll take a look at gold next. So gold, yeah, gold is golding right now. Really bearish yesterday, actually. We fell quite nicely. A little bit corrective, but momentum did hold off pretty well. You can kind of see how it closed on the daily chart. But again, that's not really doing much for me. We're in the middle of nowhere. So if that's the case, I'm not going to read too much into that bearish candle, just like I didn't read too much into that bullish candle when it happened. A lot of momentum there, sure, great. But, you know, what I'm going to do with that, we're still within the range. Price could very much smash into resistance and come back down. So I didn't get too excited with that bullish candle. And equally, I'm not getting too excited with this bearish candle. Until I see price breaking the highs or breaking the lows, then of course something can happen. We can see potentially a trend form. But until then, it's just kind of back and forth, selling high, buying low. That's really the only opportunity I can see with gold. So dropping to the lower time frames, again, I would suggest if you're looking for some buys, this is the best place for it, especially if you're looking for a bit of a swing trade. And likewise with the sells back at the high of the range there as well. There might be some short-term buys. I'm not saying you can't trade this on an intraday level. There could be some short-term buys off an area like this. But again, the emphasis is on the short term. I wouldn't look for any major swings or any kind of continuation plays. I'll keep it short and sweet because the conditions are not optimal right now. The best place for bigger moves would just be the low of the range or the high of the range, or just waiting for breakouts. So yeah, not the biggest fan of the price action for gold, but we are ranging, so just continuing to look for the market to range until we get some signs of some breakouts. And silver, I've been keeping an eye on some shorts. Momentum did start to pick up, but it was still quite corrective, so I didn't do it. It wasn't enough for me to jump into a trade. But essentially price is kind of held onto this area. A lot of wicks to the upside there. Momentum's kicked in. Maybe a nice double top could convince me otherwise in terms of getting into a trade. Because the plan last week was to basically look for the continuation of this leg. Lovely bearish leg to the downside. A lot of momentum, basically looking for the pullback and a continuation back into lows. So that was the plan last week, but we were quite aggressive with the pullback. It looked like a V-shaped pattern at some point, so I was a bit cautious jumping into any selling opportunities. And I didn't really see much momentum from the bears anyway. There was not much of an entry confirmation to get into a sell. Same with this week as well. So I'm still bearish bias, but I'm not in love with the entries or the price action right now. So like I said, maybe a double top might convince me otherwise. I still do expect to see a swing lower, but it's not high quality, which is basically what I'm trying to get at. Maybe if the price action improved, maybe I might change my mind, but at the moment, I'm okay to take a back seat with silver. Again, I'm still very much bullish long term. I love this level back down here. The plan was to see if I can short it towards this area and then hopefully buy it from this area at a later date, because I'm quite liking this level for like a big swing trade back to highs and maybe further. So I still like the buys down here, but we'll wait and see if price will get there. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with silver, golds, and the USD pairs for the most part. What's up, D-Mark? Good morning, hope you're well. Don't know if I say good morning to you. Welcome, Francis. Yes, we can take a look at dollar yen. Adams, insights on the DAX, sure thing, we can take a look. Trev, pound yen, yes, we can take a look. Malik, what is up? Good morning. I'm doing good, thank you for asking. I hope you are well too. But welcome to the stream. Hope everything is doing good with you. And as always, guys, drop pairs in the chat and we'll discuss. I'll quickly go through the platform we're working on. Just want to share that with you guys if you are interested in trading perps. We do have our own platform under Zenthrix, which we've been working on for quite some time. Let me just get rid of that. There we go. So this is the platform. If you haven't seen it already, been working on this for quite some time, but it allows you to connect with any kind of Solana or Ethereum wallet and trade straight away. The beauty of it is that you don't really have to rely on, or you don't have to potentially walk into any kind of restrictions like you would do with some big brokers like Binance, because you'll be able to withdraw profit straight away. You can trade straight away in the platform through your wallet, and everything is settled instantly, so you can withdraw your profits pretty much straight away. And there's no restrictions, no KYC, you can just get straight into it. If you want to trade demo, we do have a demo network you connect with. So if you go into the test net, you can request test USDC, 500 USDC with the Solana DevNet. With the Arbitrum, you can get 5,000 USDC test to test with and just test out the platform. But just like any other platform, you can buy, sell, set limit orders, market orders, stop loss orders, take profit orders. At the moment, you can only trade cryptocurrencies, but we'll be adding FX, indices, other markets as well. So you can play around with it. You can also connect with your email if you don't have a Solana or Ethereum wallet, but any of these wallets you can connect with and begin trading with straight away. And of course, if you want to test it out, you can go into the demo version as well. So, and of course, the beauty of it, you got my own AI there, Miko AI, which will analyze the markets for you and give you analysis, support levels, resistance levels straight away, which you can begin to use with or complement your trading. So check it out. The link, I'll put it in the description, but it's just DX Zenthryx AI. And you'll be able to get out straight away. So check it out, guys, if you haven't done so already. But there's a lot more to come from that platform in the future. Yeah, we'll go through some of your requests. I'll go through some of my positions as well. And we'll take a look at some of my watch lists as well. But first pair was dollar yen, I believe. Yeah, Francis, dollar yen, DAX, pound yen. Okay, we can take a look at them as well. DJ gaming, if CPI comes lower than expected or neutral, then where DXY goes. Well, if it comes lower than expected, that should be bearish for the dollar. Neutral, I'm expecting, well, if the targets are met, that should be bullish. But again, the question is how bullish or how bearish, which is, well, it depends. Again, it depends how much lower or how much higher the figure is. That will probably equate to how much how much the market is bullish or how much the market is bearish, and also there's other underlying factors as well. But again, I'm very much not too, I'm always kind of focused on when the news comes out and seeing what the numbers are and then the reaction to it. I try not to do any predictive stuff because sometimes you'd be expecting the market to be bearish, and then it's the complete opposite, and you're kind of like, well, why did that happen? Similar to kind of the pound news last week. And then you kind of get the answers afterwards. So I'd rather just wait for the news to come out, see the reaction itself. I'm a very technical trader at the end of the day anyway, so then I can base my judgment after that. What's up, Eric? What's up, Follow the Trend? Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are doing well. Thoughts on pound Aussie. I'm in this morning during the retest of the 4 hour. Okay, nice. I'm currently in the buy as well. Into that one last week, but yeah, I'm pretty bullish on this one, at least back to the high of the range. Okay, let me go through some pairs before I forget. So we'll start with dollar yen, then we'll take a look at the DAX, I believe, and pound yen. So, excuse me, dollar yen is looking pretty bullish. I was talking about some buys this week, and we finally got the buys in terms of price breaking out here. I'm not necessarily kind of crazy bullish on dollar yen. The yen is still pretty weak, so I think that's a big factor. Of course, USD starting to gain some strength as well. But with dollar yen, I spoke about a couple of areas where buys look good. I spoke about the low here, which price didn't quite come in test. And I also spoke about this area if we were to have a even deeper correction. But none of those areas did get the test. Looks like we just had a lot of consolidation and price decided to break to the upside. So intraday, I do like the opportunity for something like this to happen. A pullback into this area on like an hourly chart or a 30-minute chart, and some buys into resistance. What I am seeing on the high time frames is a very kind of slight uptrend, which I'm basically looking to continue. I don't expect it to continue forever. I'm looking at the major lower highs prices been forming. One over here, second over there. I do think in due time, a third will probably form and probably get another big move down. So long term, I am pretty bearish on dollar yen, but for now, I do think this uptrend still has a bit of still a bit of a way to go before maybe we do talk about those shorts and a big reversal. But for now, I still like the buys. Doesn't look like we're coming back to retest these areas, at least for now anyway. So the best I can see is some pullbacks on the intraday level and some buys back into that first target, 149. And if things go very well, I push all the way to 150.8. So yeah, dollar yen pretty bullish for now. I'm pretty bullish on USD. I'm pretty bearish on the yen. So you got a strong currency against a weak currency. Price action looks pretty bullish to me. We're still pretty consistent with the higher lows. So I think buys are the best bet for now. Clear targets to aim for. And I would suggest some pullbacks on the intraday level. Look pretty good there. So that's what I'd be keeping an eye out, especially like probably even 15-minute. You might find some better entries there. Yeah, even a 15-minute pullback might give you some better risk reward opportunities, but I think hourly will be good as well. So yeah, dollar yen still looking at upside. In terms of the DAX, I quite like the price action in the DAX because of that aggressive fake out we had. And now looks to me that price is coming back into support. So the plan with the DAX is basically if we can hold this, I do think there could be some very nice buying opportunities. I'm looking at this as just like a flag pattern, the correction of this monster of a candle, really bullish candle breaking above resistance. I'm looking to see if we can pull back, retest this area and see some more upside. And if we're successful with the retest, well, I would expect us to make a move all the way back to the highs. This looks to me like a big fake out basically of support. And we held support very well once, twice, a third time and a fourth until we did get the breakout, but it was short-lived, didn't really hold as resistance much. And now we're back as support. So if we can see a healthy rejection here, get some stops below the low, I think that's a great place for a buy. And then yeah, you got pretty clear move back to resistance back into 24,652. So yeah, pretty bullish here on the DAX. Of course, the higher time frame is still pretty bullish as well. So we got that to work with, knowing that the trend is up on the higher time frames. Of course, is a good confluence for the trade. But as long as we don't break below, I'm pretty bullish. So just keeping an eye to see how we react here. Of course, not taking buy straight away. We want to see price react with the level, give some evidence of some wicks forming before jumping into anything. But yeah, if you can see some rejection there, looking for a swing back to 24,652. Of course, there's some other targets you can have along the way, but that's where I see us going eventually. In terms of pound yen, pound yen's been super bullish. Of course, pound's been strong, yen's been weak. So again, you've got a strong currency against a weak currency. But yeah, I was not expecting this for pound yen. Price just gone and broken through those highs there pretty aggressively. So it's like we had this massive sell just for nothing really. I was expecting a sell, a correction, and at least a continuation back to lows. Not necessarily a huge trend to form, but I was looking for price to get back to lows. That wasn't the case. We completely reversed that move. However, we are trading at resistance. So it's not like, okay, let's start buying the market now. I don't think this is the best time to be looking to buy pound yen at all. We're still trading in major resistance. So if price can break through this, then yes, I think now's the time to be looking to buy when we get the breakout. I probably won't be taking the buy on the breakout, but some pullbacks afterwards, absolutely. Because at that point, I'll be expecting us to make our way back to resistance at 207.646. And that's a pretty big move, if you ask me. If I can measure that from this level to that level, about 789 pips, so almost 800 pips from this area to that area. And if you can just take a cool 200 of those, I'll be happy. So yeah, I quite like what I'm seeing here with pound yen. Break resistance there. That's the the signal for the buys really. At this moment in time, we're still stuck at resistance, so there could be some selling opportunities to take it back down again. But I wouldn't be looking for anything crazy. I do think pound yen is likely to break through that level. There might be some brief selling opportunities as we get some type of pullback, and then maybe we go and attack the level again later on. So I would suggest keep an eye on that. There might be some sells off the back of that, but I'm waiting to see if we can get the breakout and some pullbacks to trade. That's what I think the bigger move will be. But yeah, for now, without resistance, I wouldn't do anything but look to sell. If you're waiting for a buy, then you want to see price clear resistance first, maybe some strong closures on the daily chart, and then we can discuss some long opportunities after that. But as for now, yeah, pretty bullish on pound yen, but we do need to break resistance before we do get carried away with anything. Anyway, I'll go through some of my positions. We'll speak on those, and then we can go through some more requests. Eric requested pound Aussie anyway, so we can talk about that. Follow the trend gold buys, hoping for a position here before CPI, sweep 33.40 lows and up. Okay, not a big fan of gold, but we are coming back into support, so we might see a bit of a reaction. But yeah, gold's just quite choppy, so I'm personally trying to stay away from gold. Coffee spinner, yes, we can take a look at pound Aussie, no problem. We will take a look. Pavinator, my man, hope you're doing good. I am well, thank you for asking. Happy Tuesday. Aussie is nice and bearish. Yes, want to jump in at 0.652 for a sell to go down, for a sell to the downside. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I'm pretty bearish on Aussie as well. I was actually debating an entry this morning, well, about 36 minutes ago, but I'm actually long on dollar CHF, so I didn't want to double up on USD. I'm already in two other Aussie pairs as well, so I don't want to triple up on Aussie either. So I've got my hands tied at the moment, but I quite like the entry there for Aussie dollar. We'll take a look at that in a second. DJ Gaming, following from Nick's channel. Wicked, welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Glad to have you. Cease Integrator, my man, what is up? Welcome. Hope you're good. MBK, what's up? Yes, we can take a look at NAS, no problem. Cease Integrated, dollar CHF. Yep, I'm actually long on dollar CHF at the moment. I stopped my long and took profit. Now long again from 0.810. Cool. I'm actually long as well. So yeah, I'll go through pound Aussie first. Now I'll go through the rest of my positions, and we'll take a look at some other requests as well. So yeah, pound Aussie, I did jump into some longs actually last week. It's only now that we're starting to see some momentum. But I hopped in on this candle here, basically on the breakout of this consolidation. I'm not looking for anything special for pound Aussie. The way I see the market is we're in a long-term uptrend. We've just basically come into a consolidation, equal highs, equal lows. I've actually been looking for this uptrend to actually start the trend bearish, start to potentially end. I was hoping to see price break to the downside, then hopefully take some shorts off the back of that, but nope. Price respected support very well, consolidated there, a lot of wicks to the downside. Then after I saw price start to pick up some momentum from a bullish standpoint, that was a clear sign to me that says, okay, support is likely to hold here, so probably likely to push back into resistance. So that's all I'm trying to take advantage of. Then maybe later on, I might take some sells if things look good over there. But for now, I'm in some buys. We had a kind of a miniature consolidation within the bigger consolidation. And when we got the breakout of that, that's when I found my entry. And yeah, I've been in the trade since last Thursday. And this morning, we start to see some momentum in my favor. So hopefully we can push back to resistance here. It's not the biggest trade in the world, but I'm happy with it. It made sense at the time and probabilities in my favor. So I hopped into the trade and yeah, just looking to manage it along the way. I might start the trail stop soon underneath this area here. I want to see a bit more upside, and I probably will lock in stops there. There's no need for my stop loss to be here anymore. If price does start to do something like that, I don't want to be in the position anymore, because at that point, the momentum which I'm banking on is not there anymore. Yes, we could respect support and then turn around, but I'd rather get out that trade than potentially get in again when momentum's back in my favor. So I don't get in a situation where from a point of strength, I'm now taking unnecessary loss. So I will start to trail soon there with pound Aussie, but yeah, the plan is a push back into 2.1 roughly, which is the resistance up there. Dollar CHF also hopped into a trade with this one, banking on some USD strength as well, and a bit of CHF weakness, but CHF has been quite strong actually this morning at least. But yeah, I've hopped into some longs here, more so on the 8-hour chart. The 8-hour chart looked quite clean. Really like the closure on that candle there. I've got my stops underneath the low here as well. Price has been testing a very significant level of support once, twice, and as resistance there as well. We broke through quite nicely, came back for the retest, and I'm simply just looking for the next higher low here. We've got 1, 2, and banking on this kind of being the third, and at least a push back to this kind of area and this kind of area here. At least a push back to highs, but the risk was not great, so I'm looking at a push at least to those areas, and then we'll go from there. I'm not quite bullish long term dollar CHF. I'm not necessarily banking on this happening. Of course, if that was to happen, that would be great. But I can see price doing something like this and coming back down, maybe putting another lower high in. So I'm gonna start to trail stops aggressively. I'm still viewing this trade as counter trend. The trend is very much to the downside, which is against my trade. So I'm going to be on my toes, quite cautious of this trade. If momentum does start to pick up with the bears, I'll be very happy to get at this trade pretty quickly. But as of now, I like what I'm seeing. In a bit of drawdown at the moment, but nothing in terms of any red flags. Again, you don't want to get out the trade too aggressively. There's a bit of a balance to that, but at the moment I'm still liking momentum, and hopefully we can see some more upside. I'm still banking on USD being strong as well. Hopefully we'll see if CPI can give us a bit of a kick to the upside. That would be nice. And I'm also in Aussie CHF, and I hopped to this trade last Thursday as well. More or less at entry. Did see some nice momentum initially, but price has come back down against me. CHF being a little bit strong and Aussie being a little bit weak this morning. Still pretty bullish on this one. I like the fact that we did break out of that descending trend line, the counter trend line, sort of breaking outside of this consolidation as well. So I like momentum. If we do start picking up bearish, I will probably close the trade early as well with this one, because again, the idea is that we've broken out of these confluences. I should be seeing momentum start to pick up. Aussie CHF is quite a choppy pair, so I'm not expecting a clean move. I think we could maybe see a bit of downside and another higher low before we do push on. But I will be keeping a watchful eye, because again, similar to the dollar CHF trade, this again is counter trend. I'm going against the grain here, but with good reason, because Aussie CHF is actually coming from an all-time low. So I am banking on something like this happening, a bigger pullback taking place. So I quite like the buys because of that, because we're at all-time lows. All-time lows being here, of course, not there. I'm looking at this as a pullback for the next leg. So because we're coming from all-time lows, I do expect a lot of upside, but at the same time, price could always see another new all-time low before that bigger pullback happens. So I have to be quite careful with that. At the moment, nothing really to report on. A bit of momentum there. We've come back down, looking to see if we can form a higher low before pushing up again. We'll have to see. We do have a lot of resistance here, which we turn to support. Potentially, we could see a retest of that before continuing higher. So yeah, the plan is just to manage those positions. Probably won't be getting to any other trades. I've been focusing quite a lot on USD at the time. At this moment in time, and because I'm already in dollar CHF, I don't see the need to get into another USD pair, especially with a bit of news coming up this afternoon. I'd rather just manage those trades, hopefully get one of them to break even, and then that will probably free me up some room to potentially take another position. But those are 3 trades I'm in, and we'll see how they get going. Anyway, let's go through some requests. So follow the trend. We can take a look at that gold intraday position you just mentioned. Pavinator, we'll go through Aussie dollar for you there as well. We'll take a look at NAS for MBK. Yeah, we'll go through Aussie dollar. DJ gaming wise, pound. So YGP is strong today in previous week. Official back rate cut. I don't know if I haven't actually read up on that. I was expecting us to see a weak pound when we had the interest rate decision, but it was very strong. Again, I'm not a very technical trader. I'm not a very fundamental trader. I'm a very technical trader. So to me, I'm not really too bothered about why pound is strong or why pound's weak. I'm just more concerned about the setups and the opportunities that price does present. And since that pound strength has actually happened, pound Aussie became a setup for me, and it's a pair that I'm trading. And luckily for me, at the moment, pound is still pretty strong. So again, why pound is strong, not really my problem, to be honest. It's more so, okay, is it strong? Is it an opportunity to take advantage of that? Well, there was for me at the time with pound Aussie, and hopefully this can continue. But yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I was expecting to see a weak pound as well, but that was not the case. Anyway, let's go through some of your requests. So gold, follow the trend. You're talking about an intraday buy around 33.40, if I'm not mistaken. Sweep the lows of 33.40 and then up. Where is 33.40? Okay, so you're looking for price to take out these lows and then push up. Yeah, I can see price doing that, to be honest. I can see price doing that, especially because we're starting to slow down and start to consolidate a little bit. So it looks like we're coming quite flat. Maybe some early buyers could be jumping into the market. And of course, where you're going to put your stop loss if you get involved now? Probably underneath the lows there as well. So I can see that happening, especially with the chaos with CPI as well. Potentially could see a drive lower to provide some liquidity for price to push up. I can see that happening. The only thing I don't like about gold is that we're so corrective. So we might see this happen. But again, I wouldn't be banking on a clean move back to highs or a clean move back to this area because of the condition of the market. We might see a nice reaction, but I'll be looking to get out the first hurdle because of the condition. If this was like in a larger trend, that could be a really nice continuation trade, but I'm not a big fan of the conditions, and because we're kind of trading within the middle of the range, that's just kind of a no trade zone for me, really. So yeah, I can see the logic with the buys. It looks like we're running out of steam anyway. I think we can see a bounce, but again, the emphasis on the word bounce. I wouldn't be looking for a sustained swing. And again, not to say that we can't do that. It's just I wouldn't necessarily bank on that happening. But I can see the logic there behind the buys. Aussie dollar, we can take a look at that one next. So yeah, Aussie dollar's looking pretty good. I was actually, again, debating an entry for this one. I was looking to enter here and then put some stops above the high and then target the low here. And then I've got another target slightly lower down around here-ish, 0.635 for my next target. So that was actually the trade I was debating on entering, but I said to myself, no point in doing this because I'm already in a USD pair, so that's a big and then I'm already in pound Aussie, I'm already in Aussie CHF, so that's two other Aussie pairs. This will be the third Aussie pair, so I'm kind of really heavy in Aussie at the moment with two pairs, and because they're not at break even. If they were at break even, that would be a different story because there's no risk there, but because they're both still not risk free, there's still risk involved with each position, so I said it's probably not worth me getting involved. Again, I still expect the trade to play out, but at the same time, if it doesn't, I could be taking quite a few losses back to back over the kind of the same idea. So yeah, because of that, I decided not to take the trade. But in terms of looking at the trade exclusively, I think it's a nice entry. I like how price is rejected with all these wicks to the low of the channel. We come back into a nice healthy area of supply. You can see we consolidated here, really aggressive push to the downside, and now a pretty aggressive close there as well. So yeah, for me, that's the green light to short Aussie dollar, especially looking at, not USD CHF, especially looking at what the DXY is doing. We're seeing momentum there as well. So I quite like when we have the DXY showing upside potential as well as a USD pair showing downside potential like Aussie dollar as well. So they're in sync right now. So yeah, I think Aussie dollar looks pretty good, and I would bank on a push back to this area. Like I said, there's targets I have further down, but I would say a push into here, you can be fairly confident. Again, if I expand to the daily chart, you can see the lovely breakout of this ascending channel. Lovely breakout there. This looks to me the retest, and now expecting the continuation. So nothing complex here. Yeah, nothing complex. Of course, we're not guaranteed to get there as well. It's a trade at the end of the day. Always got to manage risk. Nothing's guaranteed, but I like the likelihood of a push lower here for Aussie dollar. Okay, so next I'll take a look at NAS for MBK. Yeah, yeah, of course. Aussie's been looking a little bit crazy. Quick 80 to 100 pip move, basic. Oh, okay, cool. Using CPO volume, hopefully. Okay, yeah. If you're looking for a short-term move on gold, I can see the logic there. I just want to look for any sustained move because the conditions are not great. And again, I'm not saying that you can't look for a big move. I'm just saying it's not optimal. That's all. Yeah, the trading's a funny thing. You can get some opportunities where the quality's not so high, but potentially the trade plays out. Then you get some opportunities where the quality is very high. There's a lot of confidence in your favor, but the trade still failed. And just because the high quality trade fell doesn't mean you shouldn't have taken the trade. It's just it wasn't meant to be sort of situation. So yeah, that's kind of my verdict on gold. Hey, what's up, Bashi? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Welcome. Hey, appreciate it. Hope you're doing good. How's your stream this morning? Hey, appreciate it, Bashi. Everyone like and share, subscribe is very much appreciated. Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, any questions, feel free to ask as well. Don't have to lurk in the shadows. You can always just drop it in the chat, and I'll be sure to answer. If I don't know, I'll hopefully point you in the right direction. Aussie CHF, okay, we can take a look at that as well. Let me go through NAS for MBK. So NAS 100, last time I checked, was looking pretty bullish, and that is still the case. And again, no surprise there. But we're basically trading at our all-time highs. This is the all-time highs. We haven't quite made new ones. If we're talking the wick here, we haven't quite done that yet, so I would still expect a bit more upside because the likelihood of us taking out that wick is still pretty high. Yes, we've tapped into resistance, but I do think due to the liquidity above that, the likelihood of us seeing new highs, I would expect us to go run that wick pretty soon. So I'm still pretty bullish on NAS. I still think there's another leg to give to the upside. I quite like the fact that we're coming back to retest some prior resistance to our left over here. Basically continuing the pattern which we saw over here as well. So you've got the push, the pullback, another push, the retest of the prior high, another push, the breakout, retest of the prior high. Hopefully from here we can just see that pattern continue, another run back to the high. So I'll be looking for buys in this area. If I drop to the hourly chart, all I'm seeing right now is consolidation, but I like that, to be honest, because it means that support is holding for now. And if you could see price maybe give us a strong close outside of that consolidation, that could be a great entry signal. Stops below the low, it targets back into resistance, or you can follow my advice and target the wick high there. Of course, be careful with that because the market isn't perfect. Sometimes you will start to find resistance before. You can always close the trade a bit early, but I would expect us to take out the wick high pretty soon. But yeah, in terms of the entry, I'm liking the wicks here. Really piercing wicks to the downside, really showing us that, okay, support is holding and there's a good likelihood for us to see some more upside. So yeah, I would suggest if we could see a strong close breaking out of that consolidation, confirming that, okay, this momentum is no more. The buyers have stepped in charge and now we're likely to continue to the upside. So yeah, pretty bullish for NAS. Very consistent higher lows, momentum still with the buyers. And I think we're still due some new highs there. So I would be pretty focused with the buys there. I'll be pretty focused with the buys. Okay. I'll take a look at Aussie CHF. If I've missed, I feel like I've missed out some pair that someone's requested, but I will go through Aussie CHF, which is a pair I'm currently trading. Nice, got 7 likes and 2 new people found value. That's good, man. I mean, that's the important thing. Yeah, sharing value and helping other people. And asked me to teach them. I was so chuffed. But I don't want to teach only psychology. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, if you're there, people are going to naturally ask you questions about trading as well. I know you're quite passionate about the psychology side of things. I am too as well, to be fair. I do find it quite interesting and the uniqueness of it because everyone's kind got their own kind of psychological battle to deal with. Some people it's a bit more to do with fear, some people it's a bit more to do with greed. And you kind of got all those underlying factors which can play in, which sometimes you kind of have to address them yourself. Of course, you can get other people to guide you, but at the end of the day, you probably know, especially if you journal, you know where you're kind of slipping up and where you got improvements to make. But yeah, it's such a diverse, such a deep topic, to be honest. It's very, very difficult to cover completely. But yeah, Aussie Chef. Oh, wrong brokerage. Aussie Chef. I am pretty bullish on this one. I did hop into a long position last week Thursday. Excuse me. And yeah, I've seen some upside initially, but this morning Aussie's been a bit weak, which did see price go against me a bit, and CHF was a bit strong as well. So we're bearish on the day currently, but I still like the idea. We've broken through this trend line pretty well. We're breaking out this consolidation pretty well as well. And simply, if we can continue to reject this as support, I will probably still hold this position. If we start to break aggressively below, I might look to call the trade early and potentially look for re-entries later on. But I'm still quite happy with the idea of this trade. Of course, you had that bearish move down, but it doesn't really change anything with my bias. Overall, everything is still pretty bullish, and potentially there could be some re-entries here. Price has broken out that consolidation. If we can reject well, that could be an entry to get into the trade. If you're not already in, that could be something to look into. I wouldn't take another entry because it's practically in the same area as my original entry. If I'm going to take a re-entry, it's probably got to, price needs to be trending a little bit in my favor first, so I can take an entry higher up. I wouldn't get a second entry at the same area. It's basically just doubling the risk for the position. But yeah, Aussie CHF, I would suggest if we can stay above 0.52480, basically 0.52500, the buys look good. It makes a lot of sense. If we start to break below, not that I don't expect us to still push higher up, but maybe we could even see a push all the way back to this area before we do push back up again. So you might want to be patient with that. But for now, I quite like what I'm seeing at that support level. I do think there's a lot of upside to be had there for Aussie CHF. I've been looking at quite a lot of the CHF pairs. Pound CHF, I'll probably say looks the best, mainly because pound is probably the strongest at the moment. But of course, pound CHF had a lovely breakout of this kind of weird consolidation. But we came back into a very significant level of support, and we had a very strong close last week. So you can see here, really nice support, aggressive move to the upside. You can see here again, really nice push to the upside, strong close on the weekly candle. So looks like this week we're just seeing a continuation of that. Drop to the daily chart, a lot of momentum. Someone was asking me yesterday about a pullback and a retest of this area. I said it looks really good for the retest. I like it. It's just a big if we pull back essentially. But again, that's a part of trading. Sometimes you're kind of waiting for the market to come to you. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. The worst thing to do is have that level that you're waiting for price to test, and just don't wait for it to be tested and just jump into a trade because you fear you might miss out on the move. That's where emotions come into play, and that's where things get quite ugly. So always wait for your opportunity. Whatever your opportunity is, wait for it to happen. You will feel so much more better, more confident in yourself. And again, it doesn't mean that the trade will be successful, but at least you're kind of following a plan and following a strategy. And therefore, if you're going to make amends, that at least you're following the plan. So if there's going to be any amendments made, it's with the plan, not necessarily yourself, which is a lot easier to do. Sometimes you get some bad habits that are quite difficult to shake. But yeah, this opportunity still looks good, despite the fact that we are still pretty bullish here for pound CHF. If we were to pull back, I think this is still a solid opportunity for a buy. I like the fact that we had a lot of rejection here, a lot of kind of choppy behavior as all that bearish momentum kind of disappeared. And now we're seeing that strong bullish behavior. If you get some pullbacks here, I think the buys look really, really good. As to how far we can go, I'm not too sure about that yet. Pound CHF looks to me like it's in a bigger range, really. I mean, there's a possibility we see a move all the way back there, but I wouldn't necessarily bank on that happening. I'd probably keep an eye on this consolidation there. Made a lot of momentum to the downside, even this area here, just below us, which we're coming into in now. I'll probably watch all of that range as well. But if you can get a pullback, that could be a nice target for a buy. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with pound Swiss. I'm quite bullish for a lot of the CHF pairs. Pound CHF looks probably the best just because pound's been so strong. Okay, been streaming for 2-3 months, starting to slowly get more views. Luckily A1 guys come like Lee James, okay, Sean and stuff. It's nice to get grateful people coming. Yeah, I can teach technical M1 to yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think there's a big audience with like M1, because I do see a lot of social media posts and a lot of analysis on the 1 minute chart. So I think there's a big audience there, to be honest. But yeah, it does take time to grow, to be honest, as well. It's not something that happens overnight. But as long as you're kind of sharing, good value, people, of course, are gonna appreciate that. Coffee Spinner, Aussie Yen. I think that's the pair I forgot to go through. Someone requested the Aussie Yen a while back and I completely forgot to go through it, but we can go through it now. Yusuf, my man, what is up? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. Good morning, good morning. I'm doing good today. Thank you for asking. Hope you're well. Okay, so let's take a look at Aussie Yen. I haven't really gone through many of the yen pairs. I've looked at dollar yen and pound yen. So yeah, Aussie Yen, a bit of a reaction this morning. More so to do with Aussie being a little bit weak this morning rather than yen particularly being strong. We can have actually a quick look at the yen basket before we get into a bit more detail, but you can see the yen basket is pretty much on a downward spiral right now. It looks like it's on a one-way ticket back to support here. I mean, we could bounce from there and maybe form like a bigger consolidation. I could see that happening potentially. Price start to kind of mess around in this area. But for now, we are pointing down here and we're being pretty consistent as well. So it looks to me that we could probably see a bit more downside still. That probably will push Aussie Yen higher. Again, we are coming much closer into major areas of support. So although I'm quite bearish on the yen at the moment now, that might not be the case maybe in the next week or two. As we approach support, we could very much turn around, and if I see some healthy rejections, that could be the case. So for now, yes, we're bearish, but I'm not expecting anything too crazy unless we see a breakout of that, of course. But over to Aussie Yen, of course, we've pretty much seen the opposite of that as prices climbed higher. Quite a aggressive push this morning, but we are coming into areas where, again, possibly a higher low could form. I quite like this area here, kind of lines up with the high there on the left as well. I would suggest if we can slow down, become a bit more corrective, this could actually end up being a nice place for a buy, especially intraday. Let me know what time frames you're looking at for Aussie Yen. Is it the 4-hour chart, or are you looking for like an intraday trade? But yeah, I would suggest longer term. Aussie Yen is likely still to see some upside. I'm pretty bullish on this one longer term. I'm looking at this bearish structure on the daily chart, and this is very much the plan I have. We've gone from bearish to bullish. Now I'm looking for the next higher low for the next higher high. So that's still very much the plan there for Aussie Yen. This could actually be the higher low in play already. I've been looking for one more push down before we do push up, but maybe we don't need that. But yeah, I do still see more upside. So I'm long-term bullish, at least for now, for Aussie Yen. But we are approaching areas of supply, resistance. This is not the best place to be looking for a meaningful buy. So as I said, on an intraday level, I think there could be a nice buy there. And then take it back into resistance, back into supply, and then potentially we start to back away. I mean, maybe we do have had the momentum to break through, but I wouldn't count on that. So there's still resistance here. There's still lower highs. Price has been printing. So I would still be cautious from a buyer's perspective. I wouldn't say this is the best price to be buying into. So if you are looking for buys on the intraday level, yes, I think they do look good on an intraday level. But again, I wouldn't be looking to catch a huge move here. If I can get a push back to resistance, that would be great, especially on like a 30-minute time frame or a 15-minute even. So yeah, intraday, I think there's room to the upside, but there is a lot of resistance here. I'll be careful of. Maybe if you can see a solid break of that, then we can talk about the next bullish move. But as of now, there's still a lot of resistance above our heads. So yeah, hopefully that made sense for Aussie yen. True. Also be fast enough to execute the trades. Okay, yeah, that is true. I didn't factor that in as well. Teaching the 15, guess, but people, they want what they see. True. Yeah, I didn't actually think of that, to be honest, because with the 1 minute, there's almost no time to dilly-dally, because if you dilly-dally too much, the trade opportunity's gone. So yeah, I didn't actually think of that. But yeah, I mean, yeah, 15 minutes a bit slow, of course, so you have a bit more time to yap a little bit more. But yeah, I mean, again, with the 1 minute, I know there'll be a lot of people interested in that. And again, don't necessarily have to do a lot of teaching as well. People can just learn on the job, really. Just kind of seeing you mark up a chart, take a trade. People can learn from that as well, really, without you necessarily having to explain it. But yeah, I do understand it will be very fast paced and difficult to kind of teach along the way. Euro and GU15. Okay, Yusuf, no problem. Malik, what is up? Long dollar CAD on the hourly. Okay, nice. Also long dollar seat chef. Nice. Okay, cool. We can go through those positions. I'm long as well on dollar seat chef, so we are in the same boat over there. But dollar CAD will go through again. It's the same idea, essentially. We're looking to buy the dollar here. And I was actually looking at dollar CAD. Dollar CAD looked good as well yesterday. But I chose dollar seat chef. But we can look at those pairs as well. Trev, I need all 800 of them pips for GJ. I mean, that would be nice. Euro Aussie, Euro Yen, gold, oil. Okay, Dan, no holding back from you there. We will get through those pairs. Do not worry. Yeah, that's true. Pros and cons, but that's why I do the live streams. Good, they can see you doing it. Yeah, true. Don't worry, you'll be in my thoughts, Bashy. You'll be in my thoughts. Okay, let's go through Euro USD and GU on the 15. I haven't actually looked at these guys in the 15 yet, but I did say there could be a nice little break and retest idea, because we did see a nice bearish leg yesterday. I actually did speak about some buys though yesterday, which did come into fruition. I did say be careful with them as well. I'm not expecting a crazy move, but we were talking about the retest of this area yesterday. Solid resistance there. Let me just move this out of the way. Solid resistance there. I said this could be a nice place for a bounce. I wouldn't look for a crazy move because I am still pretty bearish on the higher time frames for Euro USD. But because we had some early buys probably get involved here, there could be a lot of liquidity underneath this low, testing strong levels of resistance turn support. This could be a nice area for a buy. And in hindsight, it did give us a nice reaction. Nothing crazy, but a nice reaction. But again, because I am bearish on the higher time frames, I still do expect something like this to happen with Euro. So with the buying opportunity, it was always something I was viewing as short term for potentially some longer term sells, and that's what I quite like at the moment now. So if I quickly go to the 4-hour chart, the plan basically was, now that we've seen the breakout of this, looking for the retest of that same area, and then hoping for the continuation. Of course, doesn't necessarily have to be all the way to the lows there, especially if you're looking at some trades on the 15-minute. But if you can catch a retest of this area and a push back to the low, I'd say you're looking pretty good. So yeah, for the 50-minute chart, looking for another drive higher. Again, same idea really. Some early sellers in the market here. I like the fact that we've kind of just topped out there a little bit. If you can go run, create some new highs beyond that, I think that could be a really nice trade, at least for a push back into the low here. You've got some areas here to kind of consider as well, some targets too. But yeah, that's very much the plan. Basically looking for the next lower high. So I quite like what I'm seeing here with Euro USD. Nice consolidation, strong breakout to the downside, a lot of momentum in that move. We've left behind some nice resistance. We can come back and retest, and from there we can see the next continuation back into the prior low, and then you've got lovely consolidation resting just below you, which I think could be a good target. Of course, I think we can go even further than that, but you're probably not looking for such a crazy swing on the 50-minute chart. You can leave positions to run, but you probably want to take your profit before there. So yeah, on the 50-minute chart, that's what I'm eyeing up for Euro. GU is a bit more complex. From a 4-hour perspective, I'm still pretty bearish with this one as well. I'm still looking for this to happen. Euro and pound, very similar pair, so I'm still counting on a pretty big move to the downside there for pound USD as well. But of course, the market's kind of still bullish, or at least still sideways for now, so not really entertaining the sells just yet. But what I did say was, if we get a strong 4-hour close, breaking support, maybe something similar to this, I think that could be a very nice entry signal. Entries there, stops above the high, and targets back at the low. To me, that looks like a really nice opportunity. Basically seeing price reject this trend line. First test, second test, there's your third. So I'm liking what I'm seeing with pound. I'm pretty bearish with this pair, but I need that confirmation before I would even consider shorting. Of course, I'm not probably going to short it because I'm already in dollar CHF, but if I wasn't, that's what I'd be looking for. As for the 15-minute chart, again, I would still kind of look at us as quite flat right now, so I wouldn't really be looking to do too much right now. Equal highs, equal lows roughly, very, very flat market. So what I'd like to see again is probably either a strong break to the upside to tell me the buyers are back in town, then some pullbacks after that could look good, or equally some shorts clearing us through the lows here. That tells us we're bearish, maybe some equal highs at the top there, and then we can discuss some pullbacks. So from a 50-minute perspective, we've got a nice confident trend, bullish trend, but we are kind of pausing now, becoming quite choppy. So this is not the time to be jumping into some buys again, unless we see some healthy momentum come back into the market. Then sure, I quite like the idea of some more pullbacks, just following the trend until proven otherwise really. But if this is going to be a top, like we discussed in the 4-hour chart, let's see some signs of price breaking through some structure, breaking through lows. Then hopefully we can speak about some pullbacks on the way down. So these opportunities are quite hypothetical, but once we start to see some momentum, hopefully we can discuss them in a bit more detail. But I think Euro looks really good right now, so I'll probably just focus on that one. Again, Euro and pound, very similar pairs. So no need really to try and trade them both, especially in the 15-minute chart. Just pick the better one, which I think Euro looks pretty good at the moment. But yeah, from a 4-hour perspective, looking for something like this, and hopefully some shorts off the back of that, and a push back into the prior low. Okay, so we'll go through dollar CAD and dollar CHF for Malik. We'll take a look at those positions you've mentioned. And of course, Dan's mentioned a bunch of pairs there to get through as well. Yeah, true. Very big divergence between Euro and pound. Pound at the moment is pretty strong, and Euro's pretty weak. I think it's more to do with pound being very strong, but yeah, there's a big difference between the two. Do you hold positions through big news, and what does it do psychologically? Good question. Yes, I do. Again, as a swing trader, it's difficult to avoid that happening, really. If you're going to trade like the 4-hour chart, there's 6 candles in the day, at some point you're probably going to run into some news. And if you close a trade early because of news every time, you're probably not going to get too far on the 4-hour time frame. You're probably going to drop lower, so you can take a bunch of moves, after news or before news. So on the 4-hour time frame, which is the time frame I do most of my business, yes, I'm going to run into big news, and yes, I will hold. I don't take many trades really. The most I'll probably be in at one point is 3, maybe 4 trades at once. That's kind of the most. I'm in 3 trades at the moment now, but most of the time I'm not normally in more than 2 really, but 3, 4 maximum. I normally have pretty big stop losses as well, so it's not like I have tight stop losses, so it's not like I'm kind of panicking when the news comes out because I have like a 10 pip stop loss. Man, my stop loss could be 50, 60, 70, 100 pips, even sometimes like 150 if things are quite volatile. So I do have pretty generous stop losses, so I'm not too concerned about the fluctuations. And again, I'm very focused on my technical analysis. I've tested my strategy through a number of years across different economic events, different news as well. So I know what to expect. Some trades I am going to get stopped out from news. Some trades I will get slipped a little bit as well as a part of the game. And some trades, news will bless me and it will chuck price in my favor and go and hit my targets as well. So I see it as a kind of double-sided coin. Sometimes it bites you, sometimes it's for you. As long as I'm not really aggressive with my lot size, not aggressive with my stop loss size as well, I can normally stomach the news pretty well. So yeah, I do hold through big news, but because of those reasons, I've got a bigger stop loss, and my lot size isn't too big relative to the stop loss, and I'm looking for quite big swings as well. So yeah, and in terms of the psychology, there's not much to it, to be honest. I think in terms of experience, because I've held trades through a lot of news events, so it's just another day in the office to me at the moment, really. So there's not a lot to it. Maybe in the beginning I was a little bit more nervous, but yeah, I'm not really too bothered at the moment right now. And I think that's just because of experience, really. Mr. Buying Euro, so I looked for sells on the supply and demand. Okay, yeah, I think there's some sells there, so I'll keep an eye on the shorts. There's always more opportunities, so don't worry if you do miss out a trade. There's always another trade around the corner. Tim, what's your process for placing stops, and do you train stop loss at all to get crossed? But it's so subjective. Yeah, I mean, the idea of the course being subjective was to allow for people to focus on different things, because I created the course with the idea that people might want to focus on trading stop loss, people might want to focus on targets, people might want to focus on partials. So I basically gave everyone the material needed to do those different things. Because the way I see the market, it's a very flexible arena, and there's no one way that fits all. Some people might want to focus on this, some people want to focus on that. In terms of me, I kind of use a hybrid. I do have targets, but I also use trading stops as well. So I will have targets where I do expect the trade to get to, but I will trail stops along the way based on market structure. When is greed and a proper TP a valid? I'm not too sure what you mean by that. When is greed and a proper? I think there's a typo there somewhere, but can't quite decipher that. So yeah, if you can reword that question, that would be helpful. Try G 2.5 stop loss and then if you cover. I can imagine that will get you a few drops of sweat on your forehead doing that. God, I'm ready to meet you if this goes wrong. Yeah, I mean that's hardcore stuff. 2.5 pip stop loss and NFP. That is some hardcore stuff. CC integrated. Curious what your position size or your adjustable time. Yeah, I don't have a consistent. Position size. It's based on the currency pair I'm trading, and it's based on the stop loss I'm trading as well. Sometimes I could have double the lot size based on the opportunity. Sometimes I could have, half the lot size, of course. I mean, my lot size for pound Aussie is actually quite different from my lot size from dollar CHF. Pound Aussie, the stop loss is 224 pips. Dollar CHF, the stop loss is 83. So I have to calculate my stop loss. I have to calculate my lot size every time I take a trade. I don't have like a consistent one. I just whack on. I've got to use a calculator to calculate them. What the key thing I'm focused on is my percentage risk per trade. I keep that the same. But in terms of the stop loss, that's going to change. In terms of the lot size, that's going to change a lot as well. Okay, let me go through Malik's positions before I forget. I'm on dollar CHF now. We can start with that one. Your long dollar CHF on the hourly chart, current price at current price. Okay. Stops 0.80527. 80. Okay, so that's around there. And target's 82162. So that's around here somewhere. So similar targets to me as well. So yeah, I quite like the idea. I mean, I like it so much. I'm in a very similar trade to you, so I must like it. But yeah, I would suggest that prices reacted with a really nice level. We've seen some healthy momentum, and I'm betting on more strength for USD. And based on the breakout we've seen, I do think we're likely to continue. So I'm pretty bullish on dollar CHF. I really liked how the 8-hour candle closed as well, really commanding, kind of breaking out all the noise there. So I do still see some more upside for us. And in terms of targets, there's a lot of resistance, a lot of supply in and around this area. I would bet on price coming back to retest this. Even if we are going to be bullish longer term, that's kind of where I do still see us testing before potentially rolling over and being bearish. So I quite like the idea of price getting there. If I whip out the old Fibonacci, I like the idea of price pushing into that 0.5, 0.618 area, and then potentially reversing it as well. So in terms of the targets, I like it. In terms of the entry makes sense as well. It's in and around my area too. And stop loss makes sense below that kind of aggressive bullish candle there. So you're giving yourself that kind of opportunity to say, okay, if price is going to continue, I don't want it to be breaking through this low, which I would agree as well. If price does start breaking through that low, probably not going to see the move we're looking for. So I think stop loss is in a place that makes sense, and targets as well. So yeah, I like what I'm seeing there with dollar CHF. And of course, dollar CAD is a similar idea as well, looking to take advantage of USD strength, but this time against the CAD. So if this one, you got your entry at 1.37842. 37842. So that's around there. Your stops 1.37402. That's around there. And target's 1.38792. That's around here, so right at the top there. So yeah, I like the idea as well. Maybe I would have had stop loss a little bit lower just because there's not as much momentum, but I can see this consistency there, putting the stop loss below the areas where we had that impulsive move. So I like the consistency there as well. I think entry's in a nice place. We're back above key support and resistance. So yeah, I would suggest again for dollar CAD, if we can respect this area, we are likely to continue higher. And in terms of targets, back to the swing high makes a lot of sense there as well. So yeah, pretty much similar ideas to what I'm looking at as well. I prefer dollar CHF, so I just hopped into that one, and I'm going to stick with that one. But I would imagine all the USD pairs are likely to do the same thing. Aussie dollar fall, dollar CHF rise, dollar CAD rise, euro fall. All those moves will probably happen at similar times in similar ways as well. Maybe particular markets might perform a bit better than others, depending on the strength of the currency USD is partnered with. But yeah, dollar CAD, I like the analysis with this one as well. Like I said, I probably would have had my stop loss there, but yeah, I don't see too much issue with that. So yeah, dollar CAD is looking pretty good there as well. Okay, so where was I? Dan will go through some of your pairs you just mentioned there. Euro Aussie, Euro Yen, Gold, Oil. We'll take a look at those. Fast way to 25. Oh, great. So true. Pound Yen, yes, we can take a look at that one as well on the 15.2. Okay, no problem. Yeah, true. Commissions can be a killer, 100%. But that's the thing with lower time frames. You got commissions to deal with, but then higher time frames you got swap costs to deal with. So the way I see it, there's always pros, always cons about pretty much everything you do really. Lower time frames, commissions can be a bit of a killer. Higher time frames, swaps can be a bit of a killer, especially if you find yourself in a trade where you got some heavy negative swaps. You've been in the trade for potentially like 3 or 4 weeks, more than a month. That can really come back to bite you a little bit as well, especially on the yen pairs. Especially if you're trading exotics, that could be dangerous really. Those swaps, you don't want to mess around with them as well. So the commissions are not too bad because typically you won't have such a big lot size, at least compared to lower time frame opportunities. Because of course, if you're risking 1%, but your stop loss is 5 pips, but on the higher time frames, your stop loss is 150 pips. Of course, your lot size can be very different. So commissions not such an issue, but swaps will be. And of course, in the lower time frames, you don't have to worry about swaps at all, really, as long as you don't hold overnight. But of course, commissions you're gonna have to deal with as well. So it's really picking your poison, to be honest. Okay, so I'll go through those pairs. We'll take a look at pound yen as well. Sometimes I should close a trade, I don't. I take a loss all the times I close a trade early. Turn runs in my direction. I'm at the greed and fear stage, and it's not mechanical yet. Yeah, I mean that's a part of the learning curve, Tim. You're not gonna get that balance straight away. What I would say is make sure you journal and review your trades. That is going to be a massive game changer because you'll be able to see some consistencies between the losses and some consistencies between the winners. Of course, you're not going to get to a stage where you can know which trade is going to be a winner, which trade is going to be a loser, because of course then you would have a 100% win rate. But you can start to kind of cut out the weeds and be more confident with the winners and potentially get out some of the losers a little bit quicker as well. But you just have to kind of put some rules in place, because if you find yourself closing trades early where there's a lot of fear there, there's a lot of fear that, okay, some winners not going to play out, so let me get out the trade, or some losers are going to get worse, let me get out the trade. There's a lot of fear. So because of that, you need to find a bit of confidence. I would recommend maybe lowering your lot size so there's not a lot on the line. Therefore, the fear you'll be feeling will probably be at less. Or you can just get rid of that and just go demo, to be honest, because then you probably have almost no fear, to be honest, because there's nothing on the line. Therefore, you can be really kind of focused on the trading element of things. But to be honest, the bad side of that is that you don't really kind of squash the elephant in the room, which is the fear side of things. So you probably want to just reduce your lot size and just focus on that side of things. But yeah, so if you are quite fearful, reduce your lot size so there's not much impact, and focus more. Just keep your focus on the trading and try and make it a bit more systematic as well. You have a rule for when you close and when you open a trade. You don't want to do it off a whim, because that's just going to feed more into the fear side of things and make that worse than it needs to be. So yeah, lower your lot size, review your trades. That will give you confidence as well, because if you're seeing, okay, I keep getting out these trades, but they keep being winners, well, maybe stop getting out the trades so early. So that will give you a bit more confidence. And then of course, review trades, see which tend to be winners. What are the characteristics of those trades? Same thing with the losers as well, and that will give you a bit more confidence too. But it's a thing we just kind of have to keep at it. There's no advice I can give you here that would just make you completely not be fearful. That's something you kind of have to chip away at and improve. But those are some techniques I would suggest to start with at least. Jay Jones, what's up? Reaching out from New York. Hey, from the Big Apple. Welcome. Hope you're good. What's your opinion on the luck versus skill aspect of trading? Good question. I suppose there's a bit of luck in trading, but the foundation of that is 100% skill. Just like in sports, I always like comparing trading to sports because it's quite similar. Any kind of performance-related endeavor, there's always a little bit of luck. In sport, something goes right for you, and it just needs to go right for you to have that win. So I do agree with that, because at the end of the day, no one knows what the market's going to do next. You can do brilliant analysis just to get the direction completely wrong. So there always is a little bit of luck, but at the end of the day, the consistency is pure skill. That will keep you afloat for the long run, and that will keep your equity curve steadily rising. But in terms of big wins and big winners and get out the trade at the right time, that's a little bit of luck there. There's skill because there's method behind the madness. You made that decision because of a certain piece of logic. But yeah, there's a bit of a sprinkle of luck involved. I do think there is a sprinkle bit of luck in there, as pretty much life in general, not just trading. Some certain things just work out because you were there at the right time. But if you don't have skill, luck will only take you so far before you drop pretty quickly off a cliff. So you need to have that skill. But yeah, sure, I do think there's a bit of luck in there. Only a little bit though. Anyway, let's go through Euro, Aussie, Pound, Yen, Euro, Yen, and those guys as well. Gold and oil, I think, was requested as well. But Euro, Aussie for the most part is kind of consolidating, so I'm not really seeing much here, to be honest, in terms of the opportunity. The way I see it, I'm still looking for a pretty big move to the downside. I'm still looking for a push into this area. I still do think we can make a move back down there, but I'm not going to jump into that just yet because I'm not seeing an opportunity to do so. I think once we kind of clear this range, and if we can see a confident break to the downside, that's kind of my green light to say, okay, we're bearish now. Probably at this point, we are going to make our way back to lows. So my plan will be trying to find these pullback opportunities on the way down. I think there's still a world where we do break to the upside. Maybe we test the highs again before we do come back down. So being a little bit cautious of that. But yeah, Euro Aussie, I do think there's a lot more downside, to be honest. I do think we can attack lower, but not really interested inside this area. So Euro Aussie, not much to report on until we can get that breakout really. You can probably find some quick shorting opportunities at the high or some long opportunities at the low. Sure. Other than that, not too interested in price really until we get something like this. Then yeah, I'm expecting a push into the low. Euro Yen I'm pretty bullish on. It's a market which I do think is still very much in a very aggressive uptrend. I do feel like market is just on a one-way ticket back to the highs there at 175. We cleared the highs here like they were nothing, and we've been looking bullish ever since. We've had this bit of a dip, bit of a dive. I think it's just a pullback. The market finding a little bit of support lower down before we do continue our trajectory to the upside. It looks to me that price is trying to break through resistance here. If we can break through that well, I think that's again the green light for some buying opportunities, especially some pullbacks intraday, and then some buys back into the high, and then you got the 175 just above you there as well. So I'm pretty bullish on Euro Yen. I'm anticipating that this is going to be the next higher low for Euro Yen. So if that is going to be the next higher low, well, I would expect the next higher high to be coming pretty soon. And a break of that resistance, I feel like, is what we're really looking for, because we could still potentially sell off from here and maybe form a bigger range. And if that happens, I'll probably have to reanalyze things there. But if we can see a strong break of this resistance, well, the odds of us getting back to the high look pretty likely at that point in time. And yeah, I would favor 175 to be hit pretty soon afterwards. In terms of GJ, I think this could go for a similar situation as pound yen in terms of an aggressive uptrend, but we are still stuck at resistance right now. So we definitely need to break through that level to get going really. But once we do break through that level, or if we do break through that level, I should say, then of course that high is the next target. A lot of room to trade into that. So we don't have to be the first ones into the trade here. If price is going to break through this, I would argue there's a pretty good chance we are going to make our way back to highs there. So you don't have to be the first one in the trade, just finding a good pullback along the way. Of course, it would be great to take advantage of the whole swing. And I'm pretty sure, yeah, you'll be getting paid positive swaps as well. So the buys do look good, 100% for pound yen. But the key thing is we do need to break through that level initially to get the ball rolling. Then we can start to look for pullbacks, perhaps the retest of the level, or maybe a retest of some other piece of structure along the way. We'll find when you'll get more information regarding that as we develop and as more candlesticks print. But yeah, I'm pretty bullish. I am expecting us to break higher. I do think pound yen will follow what euro yen did, and we'll see more upside there. Of course, without resistance now, there might be some selling opportunities from this area. Maybe if you start to consolidate a little bit, start to see some momentum. Yeah, sure, there might be some shorts to take advantage of, but I don't really see much opportunity there. Even if we do sell off, I don't think it'll be a big move. I think the bigger move is with the buyers. So yeah, just waiting for a breakout and hopefully some buys after that. As for the 15, I wouldn't really do too much on the 15, to be honest, because we're just trading at major resistance. Again, like I said, there might be some selling opportunities here, but I would want to see some signs of reversal first. Some low lows and low highs, then yeah, there might be some shorts to take advantage on the 15, but we're a long way away from that. So I'll be very patient. I wouldn't really want to be looking for buys either, because again, we're at the highs. So I don't really see too much of an opportunity on the 15-minute chart. I want to see more candlesticks print before I can talk about some opportunities. Right now, I want to see if we break out or not. So yeah, 15-minute, I would hold back, wait for more information. Maybe we do top out, maybe we don't. But this is what I'm looking for pound yen in some shape or form. But we need to get that breakout first, so waiting for that. So yeah, that's kind of what I'll be waiting on. Gold and oil, I think, was requested as well. We'll go through those two in a moment. Yeah, that's true. Spreads. I actually forgot spreads. Yeah, spreads as well can be a bit of a pain as well in the lower time frames as well. Higher time frames, spreads isn't really too much of a problem. I mean, when you got a 200 pip stop loss, you know, what's a 3 pip spread? Doesn't really make too much of a difference. So again, there's pros and cons every side of the coin really. Just pick your poison, to be honest. And again, going back to what I mentioned earlier, you just want to kind of be a bit flexible with your trading because things can change as well. I mean, I used to trade on the hourly chart, not last year, the year before, and then I switched to the 4-hour chart. Gave me a bit more time and had some other things going on as well, and I quite like the kind of speed of the 4-hour chart. But maybe I go to the low time frames in the near future, or maybe even the higher time frames. I've dabbled with the daily recently as well. That's a bit more long term, but yeah. There's just different pros and cons to everything really. Where was I? So yeah, we'll take a look at gold and oil. Yeah, low time frame con spreads, commissions, fast price action, numerous trades, high time frame swaps, long trades that can range. Yeah, of course. Pick your lane, exactly. Good advice, Bashi approved. That's great. Put a nice little stamp on that one. Free Wizard, no problem. Happy to help. Appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel. It does really help out. So I do really appreciate that. Drop a like, share it with your friends, and of course hit the bell too, so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Raphael, Dollar Seat Chef. Okay, yeah, we can take a look at that as well. Longs, should I hold it through CPI? Well, I am holding my trade through CPI. Again, I wouldn't suggest you should too. You should do that too, unless you're comfortable with that. Again, at the end of the day, it's your account. At the end of the day, I'm not going to make the decision for you. So if you're not comfortable, pull the plug. If you are comfortable, then hold. But I'm holding my trade. Yusuf, no problem. Happy to help. Bashi, appreciate it, my man. Like and share, subscribe, much appreciate it. Of course, any questions, do feel free to ask. So yeah, exactly what Bashi said there. Read that comment. But yeah, appreciate it, my man. Thank you for dropping that message. Sometimes I do forget to let people know to like and subscribe. Anyway, let's go through gold and was it oil? Gold, oil, and dollar CHF there. So yeah, gold, as I've been mentioning, don't like the pair whatsoever. So I've been keeping the analysis relatively short and sweet because it's doing my head in looking at this pair, to be honest. Yeah, the way I see it, the market is just kind of fluctuating up and down. You've got the lows of the range roughly around 32.60. You've got the highs around 34.20. In the middle, that's not really where I do my business. I want to stay away from that. That's a lot of noise, a lot of fluctuation. I want to focus my entries right at the lows. Effectively, my motto in a range is, can I look to get the highest point to sell? Can I find the highest point to take a short, or can I find the lowest point to take a buy? That's really where the opportunities lie in a range. In the middle, yes, you can find some trades there. I'm not saying you can't, but I'm just saying it's not optimal, and you're going to be working a lot harder. And in terms of stop loss placement, it can be quite difficult sometimes. But yeah, buys here, sells there look good, and that's really it. I'm waiting for price to get to these areas to look how we get there initially, how we react with the level, and can I get some nice reversal opportunities. And of course, if we get some breakout opportunities as well, I'll be all over that to the upside, especially because then I'll just be looking at the larger trend for gold continuing. But yeah, there might be some short-term buys off this area here. I've marked out resistance here, turn support. There might be a bit of a bounce there, but I'll be quite careful, especially with CPI coming up. Not really something I'm too interested in. So not much to say on gold, unfortunately. As for oil looks like it is breaking through support here. I've been giving oil the benefit of the doubt, but we are looking like we are breaking through support and actually starting to reject the resistance. I've been talking a lot about this level in the market. We got a lot of support in this area. Nice reaction there, nice reaction there, another nice reaction there as well. And you can see we've got some support here, which price has been doing a fairly good job at staying on top of. But unfortunately, last week we did crack through. Now, it's not the biggest breakout in the world, but it is a sign that we are breaking below. And if we do stay below, well, perhaps this is the catalyst to get us to continue a lot lower. So as I do drop to the lower time frames, and I kind of mark out this support level, you can see we are below it and we are rejecting it as well. So yeah, I do think there's more downside to be had. Now, I wouldn't jump into shorts because I would still say we're looking really corrective right here. It's not like we're seeing healthy momentum. It's not like prices broken cleanly to the downside and then we can look for pullbacks for continuation. I would still suggest that this is quite corrective, so I can actually see a world we do break back above. So what I'm looking for oil is a more kind of commanding bearish leg to tell me that, okay, the sellers are back in town, they mean business, so yeah, we are likely to head lower. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. And if we are going to see some buys, then of course I want to see a convincing break back above the level. Then we can talk about something like that in the near future. So I'm still kind of on the fence here with oil. I'm leaning towards the bearish side of things because, of course, we are trading below support and rejecting it for now, but it's nothing convincing, nothing of high quality, which I'll be happy to take myself. So I still want to see a bit more convincing momentum before I do really kind of speak about the shorts. And of course, if the buys are going to happen, well, first things first, we need to break back above that level. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at for oil. Just kind of waiting for a bit more information. Yes, leaning towards the bearish side of things, but I'm not the biggest fan of the momentum just yet. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at from a swing bias for gold. CHF Dre, okay, we can take a look at that one as well. We haven't actually discussed Swiss yen yet, so that's not a problem. Bashi, thank you, appreciate it, my man. Okay, take care. Have a good one. Just one question before I go. What's your expectation for CPI? I'm expecting a bullish dollar. That's my expectation, but again, take that with a huge pinch of salt. Huge pinch of salt. I'm expecting a bullish dollar, but again, I'm very much open-minded. Yeah, I'm expecting a bullish dollar. That's about it for USD. But I appreciate you coming on, Bashi, and appreciate the messages you're dropping there as well. Make sure to check out one of your streams as well. See what's happening on the 1 minute time frame. I have my mind blown away. Yeah, fair enough. Not sure, just wait and adapt, of course. I mean, that's the most important part of trading. That's the most important part of trading. Being able to adapt to what the market gives you. Because you could be bullish, but it doesn't really matter. Because if it is bearish, can you find an opportunity to take advantage of? If you can, well, take some shorts. Hey, appreciate it. Most definitely, Bashi. Well, when do you stream, Bashi? When do you stream? What's your schedule saying? CHF JPY, let's have a look. So this one, I've been expecting a lot more downside. Okay, 7:30 to 10:15, unless I'm in a trade, I normally close out at 11. Okay. Okay, cool. I'll make sure to check it out. Yusuf, thoughts on UJ15? Okay, sure thing. Well, I appreciate it, Bashi. Have a good one, my man. We'll catch you in the next one. But yeah, for Swiss yen, yeah, so I've been expecting more downside because this one has come from all-time highs. So I do think we are very, very overextended and definitely due a pullback here. You can see price has had a massive run to the upside. I do think we are quite stretched here. So I do think we're due a bit of a pullback. Of course, the market's still bullish, so it's probably a situation where we do see some downside just for price to do something like that in the near future, most likely. But I do like the sells for now, and it would be nice to see us come back and retest the prior high. So I would say I'm pretty bearish, but I've been looking at the yen, and the yen isn't really showing signs of strength as well. So it's going to be difficult for us to see that continuation. For the most part, we've done pretty well at respecting this area. Probably actually include that supply level there. We've done pretty well at respecting this area, but I would suggest if we do see a commanding break above, I think things are looking bullish again, and we probably will see a move back into highs. So I would be quite cautious of that for Swiss yen. So if you are looking for buying opportunities, I do like the buys down here for a bigger swing trade. But again, I kind of have my doubts that price will get there. If we do see a commanding break above this, well, I'll be looking at something like this for a continuation back into highs. Perhaps we do see a continuation, of that bullish trend. Things are still very, very bullish. So despite the fact that we are overextended, we could always go a little bit higher. So yeah, Swiss yen, I would still say things are quite bullish. I do like the looks of a deeper retracement, but if we don't get that and we get a strong break above the high, I quite like the idea of some pullbacks on the way back to resistance. At the very least there, then we'll go from there. And looking at the yen at the moment as well, yen still looks pretty weak to me. So I think we can still probably push through that and at least get back to resistance again. Okay, so hopefully that made sense for Swiss yen. Dollar yen on the 15, we can take a look as well. All right, take care, Bashi. Have a good one. Okay, so let's go through USD JPY. So USD JPY in the 15 is looking pretty bullish. I actually made some analysis for this one on the 15 as well. All right, take care, Malik. Have a good one. We'll catch you tomorrow as well. I appreciate it. Have a nice trading day to you as well. I appreciate you tuning in. So yeah, for dollar yen, I'm pretty bullish with this one as well. From a daily 4 hour perspective and on the intraday perspective as well. We do have a very slight uptrend, which I've been looking to continue. A lot of higher highs and higher lows here. I do think price can see another bullish leg, run back into resistance and possibly back to the highs there as well. So that is the trajectory I'm favoring for dollar yen. I am pretty bullish on it. And if I do drop to the 4 hour chart, I can see a lot of consolidation there. Price did run to the upside pretty nicely, and I'm simply looking for the retest of this area. A lot of consolidation there, a nice continuation, simply looking for the retest for the next bullish leg. I was talking about some buys from these areas, but it just doesn't look like price is going to get there. Looks like potentially bottomed out already, and now we're just seeing bullish momentum enter the market. So the plan for dollar yen is very much a push back into this high initially, then we'll go from there. I can see a world where we get there and actually have a bit of a sell-off as well. So I think that's definitely a level to keep a close eye on. If things go very well and price breaks through that, then of course maybe we are going to push back to 150. You know, that could be the situation as well. But I would suggest on the 50-minute chart, a pullback into this area is the best bet as of right now. We could probably just focus on the retest of the high, to be honest. We could pull back as deep as this area, but I would focus more so on the high initially first, see how price reacts. If we do end up going deeper, then I'll focus a bit more on 147.6, which is this kind of last down candle before we had a push back up. That'll be a strong area of demand to look into. But yeah, the dollar yen is looking pretty bullish at the moment. I would say we're looking quite corrective as well. So I'm getting some signs that maybe a pullback is on the horizon. We're not really showing much momentum anymore. So I do think we'll probably top out at some point and come back down. And that will be the opportunity to find some nice buys to take us back to the highs again, and then maybe back to 149, which is that 4 hour level of resistance. Excuse me. So yeah, dollar yen pretty bullish. Pullbacks 147.9 look good. Again, basically the plan is to find the next higher low. Nothing more complex than that. We're looking quite corrective, so I do think a pullback is due, and then hopefully we can get there and speak about the buys. And if you do come a bit deeper, be aware of this zone as well. I think that's a smart place for a buy as well, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, dollar yen 15, very much looking to buy the market. Do you think we can see some more upside? No problem, Dre. Happy to help. So yeah, that's currently where I'm at for dollar yen. As for myself, I've got 3 positions going into CPI. Of course, only kind of one directly impacted, which is dollar CHF. I'm also in pound Aussie and Aussie CHF, which aren't really dollar related, but you know, the thing about USD, it does affect all markets. So I do expect a bit of a reaction on pound Aussie, and I do expect a bit of a reaction on Aussie CHF as well. But dollar CHF is going to be directly impacted, so we're going to see what happens there. I'm expecting strength for the USD. I do like what I'm seeing, and I do expect some strength, but of course I could be very wrong with that. So I'm not saying go and enter some buys right now for USD and bank on USD being strong. Absolutely not. That's just kind of my inclination with USD. I'm long on USD as well, so it would be nice if that does happen, but we'll very much see. I mean, I do have quite a sizable stop loss here for dollar CHF, so if you do see like a flush to the downside, I'm probably able to stomach it, hopefully, if of course price is going to be breaking through this area. Well, I don't want to be in the trade anymore anyway, so I'll happily, well, not happily stop out, but I'll take the stop with the expectation that I was probably in the wrong direction to begin with. But yeah, I quite like what I'm seeing here with dollar CHF. I'm very bullish on it. I'm expecting more strength for USD as well. I also took this trade on the 8-hour chart, so that's why I keep flicking to the 8-hour. Nice convincing candle breaking out of this noise, essentially just respecting this level of support. And then targets back into this area roughly. I will trail along the way. Like I said in the beginning of the stream, I will be quite aggressive in terms of the trade management, because I still do see this as counter trend. I do believe the overall trend for dollar CHF is still very much to the downside. So the buys for me are a little bit more on the aggressive side of things because they are counter trend. So I will kind of be very watchful of this trade, trail stop losses, not aggressively, but when I get the chance to, I will. And if I do see momentum start to pick up against me, I won't be afraid to close out of this position early. Same situation with Aussie CHF as well. Same situation applies with this one. Really aggressive, well, not really aggressive. We've got confirmations back in the buy. It's just aggressive because, oh, did not mean to do that. It's just aggressive because the higher time frame trend is against me. That's the only reason why it's aggressive. But besides from that, we've got a lot of confirmations. We've got a lot of development with this sideways movement. We broke into the upside well. We got a lot going for the trade. Hence why I took the position. But I do want to see price kind of respect this area. If you do break below, depending how we do so, I may close the trade early. But for now, I'm still happy with the position. And hopefully we can start to progress and pick up some momentum. And finally, pound Aussie as well. Pretty bullish on this one. Entered this one last week. And only now we're starting to see some convincing momentum in our favor. Took the entry there. A lot of sideways movement. There was some nice actually re-entries here on the retest of the range. So if you're like on a 15-minute chart, 30-minute chart, I might have found some nice entries there. But yeah, nice convincing candle close to the upside. And now I'm looking to see if we can make our way back to the highs at 2.09992. A lot of nines there. So those are three positions I'm in. I've been quite keen on the USD side of things, but because now I'm on dollar CHF, I don't see myself getting to another USD pair until that's at least a break even. Or at least some risk taken off the table. I did say Aussie dollar looked really good today, and I was debating an entry, but I've already got my hands tied with other USD pairs and other Aussie pairs, so I didn't want to kind of over leverage myself there. But I think this is a nice short opportunity as well. Again, banking on the idea that dollar is going to be strong, and looking at the DXY, that's exactly what I'm seeing. I do think we can see more upside. Again, nothing's 100%, but I like the chance of some more upside, at least back to this high here, and then we'll go from there. Maybe price does find resistance here, and we do sell off. That could be the situation. But if we can break through that, then maybe there's a move for all the way back to the highs there as well. That's if things go very well. But yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD for now. Going into the news. Some effects, what is up? Hope you're well. Thanks for the good work, appreciate it. High time frames has helped me to become profitable. Hey, that's great to hear. Thanks again, thanks for you. Hey, appreciate it. That's music to my ears, Sam. Great to hear that, my man. Great to hear that. Yeah, I mean, again, it's different strokes for different folks. Some people might find a little bit more success with the higher time frames. Some people might be a bit on the lower time frames. I like the higher time frames because they're a bit more slower. Price action is a bit more pure. You're a bit more closer to the true direction of the market, because the higher you go, less noise there is there, less noise from news, less noise from market kind of fluctuations throughout the day. You're more kind of true with the higher, with the overall direction, what the market is doing, and you get a bit more fundamentals in there as well. 1 minute chart, things are going to fluctuate quite quickly. If you look at a daily candle or a weekly candle, it encompasses a lot of price action into one candle, so it gives you much more of a pure kind of overview of what the market has done for that day or for that week. So I quite like the high time frames because of that. It's a bit slower, a bit more patient, and it kind of helps with direction as well. So if you found use from that, that is great to hear. Yusuf, no problem, happy to help. Question on entry: when you have a big zone that's big and looking for a buy, do you look for an engulfing candle inside the zone or after it left the zone? A bit of both. It depends on the opportunity, Yusuf. It could be inside the zone, or it could be left. Like, for example, let's say if I was looking for a buy, let me get rid of this. Let's say if I was looking for a buy in this area, if price got there and gave me a strong bullish engulfing candle like this inside the zone, I think that's enough for me to take a trade as well, because that's a strong sign that, okay, we are starting to respect this area. You can wait for it to leave the zone as well. I think that will give you a bit more confidence for the trade. But yeah, it really depends on the situation. If the candle looks good enough to take it inside the zone, I would take it. If it's still looking a little bit corrective, then maybe I would wait for a bit more momentum to clear the zone. And also depends on the size of the zone as well, because this is a pretty big one. You can sometimes get even bigger ones as well. If it's too big and it looks kind of unproportional, you probably need to scale to a higher time frame for it to make a bit more sense. Like, this is the 4-hour chart. If I scale to the daily, the candlesticks don't become as trivial, and it makes a bit more it helps with the higher time frame. So if the zone is a bit too big, you can always scale to the higher time frame. You know, if you're 15 to a 30 minute, if you're 30 to an hourly, hourly to 4 hours, so on and so forth. So if it's a bit too big, I would recommend scaling higher. But something like this size, yeah, if things look good in the zone, I'll take it. If not quite there, I'll wait for us to clear the zone. But that's such a good question because you will run into that from time to time. But yeah, guys, we have reached the end of the stream. Like I said, I'll monitor my positions. We do have CPI at 130, so in about an hour and 30 minutes from now. So do keep an eye on that. Expecting the market to move quite a bit, so you don't want to make sure that you're going into that news blindly. So make sure you're aware of that. But we will be live again tomorrow, so we'll recap what happens with the news, see what happens with my trades as well. We'll speak on that, and if there's any other opportunities brewing up in the market, we'll be sure to cover that as well. So if you are interested in the streams, make sure you subscribe to the channel and you do hit the bell so you'll be noted, you'll be aware of any upcoming streams or upcoming videos, so you don't miss out on anything. If you did enjoy today's stream, drop a like, guys. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel, and of course share it with your friends as well. It does really help out the channel. But guys, really appreciate you tuning in. I will be live again tomorrow as well, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you are interested, tune in and you can come have a good time with us. But guys, really appreciate you coming onto the stream. Have a great day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.
Introducing Zenthrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zenthrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zenthrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.